The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sister Speak. I don't know if you guys can hear me, so please confirm if you can or if you can't. Can you hear me, guys? Well, assalamu alaikum if you can. I'm waiting for Hassam to come over and tell us. But we are today discussing some of our fears, and we're going to talk about that in the second half of the show. What kind of fears do we have? How do we face our fears? And so on. But in the first half, before we get into any of that, we're just going to introduce the people that we have on today's show. So I'm Sonia and I'm hosting the show today. Who else do we have with us?
Assalamu alaikum everyone, it's Fareen. And we also have here
Alia. Thank you guys so much for introducing yourselves. Alia, would you like to tell our listeners what our show is about?
Yeah, so our show is a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions and just share their opinions on politics, Islamophobia, anything. Please note our views and opinions are our own, and we respect all other opinions or views.
Thank you. And Alia, would you like to tell us how people can get in touch with us if they do want to join in the conversation?
You can contact us on our Instagram or Facebook at Sister Speak, or you can call us on 01582 481822.
Lovely, thank you so much. But obviously we're going to start with our thought of the week. So I hope you guys have been thinking, because I'm coming to you first. So Alia's shaking her head, so I'll go to Fareen first then.
Okay, this is the one time that I'm not prepared for my thought of the week, and I go first. Let me think of something. I'm just gonna say, I don't know, my parents are traveling, so I've been quite stressed and quite busy, and I feel like I haven't had time I haven't made any time for me, like me time. And this made me, oh sorry, my baby will just go off. This makes me realize how much my mom, she doesn't make time for herself either, because looking after someone is so stressful, you know, and that's what I've been doing these days.
You've been playing mum at home.
I've been playing mum at home.
Mum and dad.
Yeah, everything. And even though it's just my little brother, it's still so stressful, and you know, you have to think about so many stuff, and if you lock the house and stuff like that, and it just makes me realize how much my mom actually does. And every single time she travels, so this happened once before, every single time she travels, I'm so stressed, and when she comes back, I'm like, wow, you know so much stuff, and you don't even complain, you know. Every single time I call my mom, I'm like, I can't do this, he doesn't listen to me, he's not eating, I have to clean this, I have to clean that, and she's like, welcome to my life then.
Wow.
So when my mom comes back, obviously I just feel like she's on her holiday right now, but she still needs a break once in a while, like I do right now.
Why did you do holiday in quotation marks?
Because I feel
Is she still like working from on there?
No, she's not working, but I feel when you go back home
as a parent. Oh, back home. Okay.
Yeah, when you go back home, she took my other brother. Sorry, so she's still kind of working.
Still a parent. She's still being a full-time mum to your other brother.
Yeah, she's still a parent, and because back home it's been so long since we've met all of our family, then you know, going to everyone's houses and social battery has to be on every time, so it's kind of stressful. But you know, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. There's a lot to what you just said. So the first bit, obviously the whole like you actually appreciate how much work goes into being a parent for once. It's quite funny how your mum's like, welcome to my world, like I've been doing all of this, I never complained once. So that's one thing. But also Fareen, you are also like studying, you know, you're still young, so well done first of all to taking care of your brother. I hope he's all good. He's in the studio with us now. So he is good, he's being well looked after by the Inspire team. But yeah, and also what you said about like traveling back home, I agree with you. Like a lot of the times, I remember I went to the USA like a very long time ago, but it was a holiday, don't get me wrong, like we vacation, like we were experiencing new things that we've never seen before, going to places that we've never been to before, but at the same time there's a lot of people's houses, a lot of family, a lot of long lost relatives, and it was like, this just kind of feels like just going to
this seems like a full-time job. When you go on holiday anywhere, you want to experience,
you're relaxing as well, right? Yeah, experiencing the new place and also relaxing, one or the other, or doing those excursions and stuff. But when you have to be social with the purpose all the time. Like, this is your dad's cousin, now greet them. There's a lot to
There's
it.
a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's why when you go on holiday, there's so many things. And also when you go to a country you've never been before, you want to experience. If you, let's say you go for 5 days, every single day you're waking up at 8 a.m. because you want to travel and everything. You don't know
It's
when you're
true.
going to be back. So you want to see everything that's like, you know, just absorb the culture of where you're going.
Yeah.
So it's good to go on holiday, but it's really, really tiring.
It is. So yeah, thank you so much for that. See, your thought of the week was amazing.
Yeah, it just came out of
Once
nowhere.
you put some thought into it. Thank you, Alia. Coming to you now.
Okay, so I had some time to think. My thought of the week was a conversation that I had with my uncle today about developing your skill set. I think he was just talking about all of the missed opportunities that we, as a younger generation, miss out on. Like, because we do have so many opportunities. Like, we have loads, and I feel like us as a generation, we're so lazy. As bad as it sounds, like we spent, like, if you look at like the average screen time of people that I know personally, it's like 5-6 hours a day, and it is so, like, I'm trying to cut down.
Do you think that our screen time is also laziness? I mean, it is. But what?
Oh no, sometimes. Actually, I was talking about this with Farina.
It's just a
in terms of,
habit,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah. No, I feel like for some people it's not. Like, their screen time is their work, or like, we were talking about networking and marketing and how that's like a skill. Like,
It
that's something that you build up on. But I mean, in terms of just scrolling.
Yeah,
you know, when you're
mindless
just brain
scrolling.
dead scrolling. Yeah, 100%. That's such a waste of time. You know, and you, like, what, the 3 hours that you put into scrolling throughout your day, you could literally learn a language.
So what I was going to say, could you develop on that? Because you're saying, like, as you mentioned, your uncle said, like, missing opportunities and not being as skilled as much as we could be.
Yeah.
What would, like, be more specific? What do you think?
In terms of, like, being specific, I mean, for me, I feel like I could just put more time into learning my own mother tongue. You know,
Wow.
you
That's
know,
really good.
you know,
Yeah.
'cause I feel like it's such, like, it's so embarrassing to not know your own language and how to you know,
You can keep
How to
going.
communicate.
how
Yeah.
to communicate in your own language, or even like opportunities in terms of being able to go out and learn probably like how to play like a certain sport, or like going for a walk, like certain opportunities that, you know, you have all day and every day.
That people might not have
Yeah,
had
that you-
before you.
yeah,
Because I'm sure when your uncle was telling you, he probably compared it to, like, back in my day, we couldn't do all of this,
He
this,
actually
and this.
did, he actually
Oh, he
did.
didn't.
He did.
What a fantastic uncle.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Just focusing on the you, the now, the present.
Yes.
Yeah, but I feel you on that, and especially at the language one. Like, I recently saw something about Bangla, the language that is
Yeah.
like my mother tongue, I suppose. And, you know, there's so much history to it and so on. And I thought, oh gosh, how, like, I should know this. I almost know
don't,
this,
you know?
but I don't know this.
Yeah, and I would really love to learn like different languages. That's something that I'm like fixated on.
Oh,
It's my little
start today, Aria. Start today.
Start today.
Little bit.
I actually started.
Yeah, you
I'm not
need
doing
to.
so well. I really don't.
It's okay. Start. It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start,
Exactly,
it's a start. You have to
exactly.
start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Learn your mother tongue.
To
Honestly.
everybody.
Yeah, literally. Don't lose your culture. Keep it intact. Keep it.
People have fought
It's
for
actually so
this.
important though. Like, I had a
agree.
conversation with a nurse today about like where I came from and my history and
Yeah.
you know, my country, and she was so shocked. Like, she was genuinely so shocked. She was like, I never heard of this before. Yeah, she was
Wow.
really shocked, because obviously I'm from Kashmir,
Yeah.
right? And it's not, obviously a lot of people a lot of us, we wouldn't say we're from Kashmir. We just say we're from Pakistan, or we're from, you know, India.
India.
We don't really say, oh, we're from Pakistan, or, you know, but
Like, we don't
that-
specify
yeah,
from
we
where.
don't- they don't specify. We're from this side of Kashmir and it's occupied. And so I was just explaining to her like the situation in my country and, you know, the origins and stuff. And she was just like to me, she goes, "This is so cool." She goes, "It's so like nice how you know your ancestry and where you came from and all of this stuff." And she goes, "I'm just Irish." She goes, "I can't go
Wow.
back like 20 years." She goes, "Oh, you know, my parents, my grandparents." And I thought, you know, obviously we know part, like, before that, we know, like, my granddad, my great granddad, we have a big family tree
Wow.
that's written in paper, you know. And yeah, I was just thinking about how it's so important to keep your culture and your family ancestry, and how actually
Oh.
like important it is to realize your roots.
I mean, the fact that you're saying you can literally map out your family tree is
It's
amazing.
crazy, yeah.
I couldn't do that. Honestly, couldn't. Like, and I say that sometimes because we were talking about, this is not funny, but it was funny at home where we were talking about like illnesses in our family,
yeah.
because you need to know, like,
Yeah.
you know, is it
Diabetes
hereditary?
and
Is
stuff
it
like that.
hereditary and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Like, is your family prone to that? And we were like, we don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know. They didn't keep records. They didn't tell us. My
Yeah.
great grandmother didn't tell me what she was going on there. But yeah, no, Alia, that's an amazing thing, and I totally understand what you mean. Like, just holding on to that piece of culture because it is a part of you,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
100%.
very, very nice. Lovely thought of the week. I love it. Thank
What's
you.
your thought of the week, Sonia?
So thank you for asking me earlier. Well, my thought of the week is from just a quote that I heard, and I don't 100% agree with the quote, but I like the quote. So
Yeah,
the quote
no.
was, "It's better for it to be done, for I can't even say it, than it to be perfect." So better for it to be done than it to be perfect. Like I said, I don't 100% agree with that, because I always think that everything should be done to the best of its ability.
Yeah.
We should strive for perfection. We should strive for that, obviously. That's the whole point. But at the same time, I get the concept, because it
Yeah.
means when you're too overthinking, I need it to be perfect, I need this, planning, it might never get done. And that's all of us are guilty of kind of being in those situations, right? So if it's a choice between never having it done but potentially being perfect in, I don't know, 50 years or the foreseeable future forever, or it's done, it was out there, it got started, at least maybe you can go again and make it perfect the second time, then I'd pick that option. So I think that just resonated with me. I was like, yeah, it is better to just maybe we can change the phrase, better for it to start than it to be perfect.
Yeah, than it to be perfect.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I'm like you. I have like second thoughts about it, because I remember whenever I used to get anything done at school or anything like that, then my dad used to be like, "There's no point in hurrying it up. Just take your time with it. Wait until it's good. When it's done, then review it again." You know how dads are, right?
Yeah.
They're so perfectionist about everything, and especially my dad, he's so strict about every single thing that he does. So since I was young, always all the time, I used to have to start, like, imagine I had something due in I don't know, 3 months, and obviously I would start the week before, let's say, but my dad would be like, "You start now, they gave you this time for this," and then I would work through it. So since I was young, I've always done this. So I would never give anything finished. Let's say I have to give something to him, I would never give it like
half-hearted,
yeah,
or not
never.
not as what you think is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, but
But obviously it happens. Sometimes it happens. But he would appreciate me obviously giving it, half start. At
The
least I
effort.
did something, but he obviously liked it when it was perfect.
Aw.
You want to share something, Alia?
To be honest, I appreciate it when I just start something.
yeah, because
Yeah,
you
I
can see the
appreciate it.
effort
I
that
give
goes
myself
behind
that.
just
Yeah.
starting something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
see that.
I appreciate the effort of just starting something, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
for me, I know, like I said, Farine, I do believe we should strive for perfection, but before that, it's like baby steps. Way before
Yeah.
that, it's like, okay, but just do something. Just start it. Just go out there, do it, whatever it is. Start the assignment, start whatever it is. So I agree with you that for me,
It's good. It's good to start somewhere, and I think something important. It's good to strive for perfection, because that's how you know you're going to get the best of where you're going. But it's so important to remember that you're never going to be perfect, and maybe what you're doing will never be perfect, because everybody's got different thoughts and opinions, and unless there's like an objective sort
Yeah.
of standard,
yeah.
it's just perfection is different to everybody. And I think
Yeah.
it's important to have that expectation in your head of it might be perfect for me, but it's not going to be perfect for that next person. This person is
True.
it's a personal sort of
Like subjective.
it's subjective. I think it's very important to keep that in your head at all times.
Yeah, with
Because
anything
sometimes
that
you
you
get
do.
swept away by people's opinions, and I feel like a lot of people tend to get really stressed out about it. But
Well, we're going to talk more about that in the second half of the show.
Yeah, the fierce.
Yeah. So just to clarify, because I think when the show started, I was like,
It was a bit rushy, yeah.
we're going to talk about fears. We're not going to talk about fears as in I'm scared of
spiders.
spiders. Or
I'm not, by the way.
We're gonna
Just
go
clarify.
like deeper
Phobias.
into it.
Not that fear. It's a metaphorical fear. So what kind of scares you in terms of daily lives, decision making, growing as an individual, and then like what you just said earlier, like societal fears and pressures from other people. So yeah, that is what we're going to talk about in the second half of the show. But the first half, we're going to talk a little bit. Now we've got like about 15 minutes till the end of the first half. We are going to talk that. What was it that you said, Fareen?
We're going to talk about, now that it's holiday time, Alia gave this idea how we're going to, what was it? Take
Maximize
advantage.
our time.
Yes.
Maximize our time, not waste time. And it all links back to what your uncle said as well.
Yes, it does.
Wasted opportunities. Like when we were speaking about it, I think there was the conversation that kind of happened was, we have so many opportunities, and I think even that phrase is "we have so many opportunities" is something that you have to kind of single out and genuinely kind of, I don't want to say, but you have to deeply think about it.
Okay, I get what you mean. So like actually analyze that. We have so many opportunities. But like, do you have any in mind when you're just saying that? Like, give me an example of one.
I think when I just throw it out there, it's like, but what?
Give me an example.
A clear example is like we have so many of these volunteering groups going on, especially in Luton. We have them in Bedford. We have them everywhere. For example, there's FOBE, Friends of Bright Eyes, which Free knows about.
Yes.
We have, what else do we have?
We actually have the Inspire Youth Action Group.
We
if
have
you know,
that
you
too.
know.
Yeah.
So that is for
yes,
anyone.
We do. Yeah, we have
Youth
that too,
is,
yeah.
I think, up to the age of 30. But even like if we're older and you don't feel like you fit in the youth bracket, you could be helping us facilitate things for the youth. That's something we actually want to do this summer. Actually, I'm not trying to plug it on the show or anything, but it just happened to be. So,
it is part
for the sisters and the brothers, whoever you are, please do find out more, inquire. But yeah, so what
youth?
You can carry on. Oh, yeah, you were saying,
more opportunities is more, because we have media now, we have YouTube, we have all these sources of knowledge. You are not limited in where and how to learn and what you can learn and from where you can learn it. You can find all these teachers online, Islamic knowledge, general knowledge, academic knowledge. You could learn how to speak, as I said, speak a new language, learn how to play an instrument. There's so much that you can learn. Even like online, you get them articles, and it's just like listing out how do you make money.
Wow.
Yeah, you can just use them.
So on the back of that, how do you propose? So for example, say it's me, example, and I've just had a long day at whatever it is, my cousin's house or work or anything, whatever it is, and now I'm going home and say it's like 3 p.m. and I'm like probably just going to eat, go on my phone for a bit, and let's just end the night or whatever. How do you kind of say, no, like manage the time, allocate time to something, and also how do we make it something that doesn't feel chore-y? Like by chore I mean feel like a chore. So I don't want it to then sometimes things become a bit like, I have to go back onto this class because I signed up for it. Like how does it still become, I want to broaden my horizons, widen my skill set? Fareen, you can also.
I'm the kind of person that I would I say, read your uni emails, whatever opportunity you have, apply for it. And I always do that. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm always up for it. But the thing is, sometimes when I applied for it, I get so, like you saying, I get so lazy. Like I signed up for these 2 classes and I don't even remember when I signed up, but I still get messages about it, like the class is starting, join now. But I get so lazy even if I'm free. But I think those online classes is not the same thing. That's why I'm not so motivated to actually join the class, because it's, after COVID everything went online and still online sometimes, so I get really bored. But there's so many things that I try to do during the week, so like playing a sport or like radio is something that I also is like maximizing my time, socializing. And you don't even have to sometimes things that like throw me off is the fact that you have to pay, I don't know, a membership, or you have to pay money, but you can just go to the park, I don't know, take a walk in the park and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that you can do that you don't have to spend any money.
I see what you're saying. So I think the takeaway for me is do the skill set or whatever, broaden your horizons for what works for you, so then it doesn't become a chore. Because if it's just going for a bike ride every 30 minutes in the evening, that could be fun for you if you enjoy riding a bike, but you just never get around to it because you're just like, I can't be bothered. Like if you allocate yourself that time. I like the idea of what you said. I just like signing up for things. Like some people really love that and some people really don't. So
as long as you put yourself out there, and even if the opportunity doesn't come because they picked someone else, at least you did that effort of, okay, I'm free and I want to do it because I want to, I don't know, how is it, heighten my skills, enhance my skills,
Yeah.
or just socialize. Honestly, just read your uni emails is the first thing I would say.
If you go to uni.
If you go to uni, yeah, and you have your opportunities, I feel like there's so many, and even if you don't, you have to like put yourself out there and look for the opportunities and then apply to them and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I think so you mentioned sports clubs as well. That's a great one. Again, if you're like, I don't really want to chat to too many people, but I would like to be involved, that could be sports. You don't technically have to talk that much if it's like a like
A sport,
badminton or something, right?
You
So-
said sporting communication, which is more pass the ball, move to the right, move to the left, back, shoot.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that enthusiasm, Alia. I don't know what games you're playing. I know who's passing the ball to you with that.
But it's more, I mean, you just screw out some of your lungs.
We
But,
need to go together, guys.
Yes.
Like once again, Sisters Inspire Youth Action. We're hopefully starting badminton in the summer.
Hopefully.
I really hope that we can get that started, and then we're all going, and we're going to invite everybody else who's listening to come along too, because it'll be super fun.
Yes.
And we're going to make sure it's free. And I'm saying that on live air because Brother Rashid might say to me, we weren't able to, but I'm like, no, I've said it now.
We have to make it free. We have to be accessible.
Be free. It has to be free. We want to do free, fun stuff, right? So, any other ideas of how you cannot waste time? It's such a hard thing, like,
It is.
to because if we all knew, we would all not waste time.
You know what it is? I think you have to really just reflect on what you think is important to you. So for me, as I said, like learning about my ancestry and trying to be more in touch with my culture is something that's becoming more important to me. Whereas with Fareen, what's more important to you? Networking, or doing something that you know is going to benefit your future. That you're more centered around that. And with you, Sonia, what
I don't know. I've entered a new era of life,
Oh yes.
soft girl era.
So
So-
maybe that's just learning more, like
I think I need to put Prue's microphone off because she just whacked it. But sorry, yeah. What do you think, Alia? Like, for me, I think it's literally finding time to do the things I like. That's why I entered this era, because I was like, I need the time to kind of figure out what I do enjoy, what I don't enjoy, and give myself the time to
Figure
explore
out
that.
yourself.
So whether that be badminton, whether that be, I don't know, canvas painting.
baking.
Did you say baking?
Yeah, stop baking.
My oven doesn't work. I know, it's really sad. And I actually genuinely want to, but I've used the air fryer to bake cookies before and it worked.
Really?
So there you go. So yeah.
I just want to add something. I feel like it's so important to not do anything too. Like, you don't have
yeah.
to scroll on your phone, but I love just sitting, just with my own thoughts.
So-
I feel like it's so fun.
So do you think this? Well, obviously our topic was not to waste time. So do you think what we are saying is literally don't waste time mindlessly scrolling on your phone? Is what we're actually saying?
Yeah, but
Escape the Matrix.
yeah, but I think
That's
with
too deep right now. We can't go into that. But
we'll have to take a whole main topic about it. But I feel like mindlessly scrolling, you're kind of I do it all the time, honestly. I'm not gonna say I've here and be like, I don't do it. I do it all the time, and I feel like it's rotting my brain, and my attention span is so short. But when I'm just sitting there, let's say I'm going to the park, I just want to lay down, you're looking at the trees and everything, just when they say like touch some grass,
touch grass. Yeah.
I feel like it works, and instead of looking down at your phone, you have this beautiful scenery, and you have the
Yeah.
kids playing around, and everyone's laughing, ha ha hee hee, you're getting an ice cream, all those kind of stuff is I feel like it's not rotting my brain,
Yeah.
Natural dopamine.
And I also think that it brings us back to kind of reality in a way, because
Yeah.
don't forget how to communicate with people in real life, and
Yes,
not
yeah.
just virtually.
Oh my god.
I mean, we could do a whole show on that, right,
We
Alia?
honestly could.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because I feel like social skills are just falling down the drain. Literally, they're just going downhill, because sometimes you're talking to someone and they'll say something and you look at them and you think, are you okay? 'Cause a lot of, I think people don't understand that a lot of things people say now is not stuff that should be said out loud.
Ah, that's interesting.
Sure,
I don't think I've been in many of those situations,
I
but it'd
feel
be
like
very
I
interesting.
have, and it's I personally, like in my own head, I blame it on a lack of social skills, because I think when I was younger, and I'm assuming the same for both of you, because I haven't heard it from you. Your parents always told you never make comments on people's physical appearances, especially if it's something they cannot change. For example, this color of their skin, or the way that they're built, or the way they look. Never ever make a comment on it. And I feel like this is something that we learn as children and we're so familiar with. But I'm not too sure if it's now people are just more comfortable, or there's a different standard to, you know, being respectful. But I feel like people are just way too comfortable commenting about how other people look. Oh, look at her, she's too dark, or she's too light, or, you know, she's too tall, or she's too short.
Do you think, again, I hate to bring it up, but because they had the kind of protection of usually saying it behind a screen where you can say anything you want because you're anybody you want to be, that is now translated into real life and face-to-face conversations?
You know, I personally would say, I want to say no, but then I feel I would also disagree with myself, because I feel like a lot of people that do put hate comments out and they do comment on people's posts, I feel like if they were face to face with the person, I think in my head I have this sort of visual image of someone that's really scared and really anxious and very insecure, so they wouldn't say it. But then you never know.
We never know. But thank you so much, Alia. I think that is a great topic, so thank you for that, because we are going to talk about that in another show, 100%. But yeah, thank you for the first half of the show, everyone, and anyone who is listening in. And on the second half, we will talk about some of the stuff that may be fears in our lives and decision making, and just continuing with daily processes. But yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Join us in the second half. Assalamu alaikum.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
يا هلا يا هلا يا هلا
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Sisters Speak. And just a recap, you're joined on the show with me, Sonia. I am hosting today's show, and we also have with us today
Me, Fadeen.
And me, Alia.
welcome back, welcome to the show
The second
again,
half,
guys.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. In the first half of the show, we spoke a little bit about our thoughts of the weeks, which were all really, really good and insightful, about getting something started, family history, and being a mum, which I loved. We also spoke about holidays and managing our time, not mindlessly scrolling, which often happens to all of us on the phone. And we spoke about just what we can do with our time and skills and learning a language and just sitting and touching grass, as Doreen said. So yeah, we spoke about all of that kind of stuff, which was all really, really good. So thank you to anyone who listened to the first half of the show. And if you want to get in touch with us, how can you do that?
So you can call us on 01582 481 822, or you can send us a WhatsApp message at 07779 481 822. Alia, how can they get in touch this
You
month?
can DM us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook.
At Inspire Family 10, and our Instagram is at Sister Speak.
Lovely, thank you so much. And so yeah, moving on to the second half of the show, our main topic is about fears. So to be specific, what kind of fears like could be a barrier in our lives, so where it might
Just what we're scared of, and how fear really plays into our lives, because I feel like it's a thing that we go through every day, and it's a thing that holds us back from doing a lot of things. So that's why I chose this topic, by the way.
Thank
I chose
you so much. Yeah.
That's okay.
That's why Fareen chose the topic. I mean, could you expand a bit more, like we actually mean by fear? Because obviously fear can mean a lot of things. Like Ali said, some people are scared of spiders, but we don't mean that. We mean fear in
Abstract
I mean-
decision making and so on. Right?
Yes, I mean fear is in, again, like you want to do something, but the fear of doing it or the fear of going to that place is holding you back. I don't mean fear of like spiders and cats. I want to go deeply into it, because I feel like I'm scared of a lot of stuff, and I don't know about you guys, but like I'm scared of cats, even though I have one. I'm scared of animals and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I'm scared of, but that's not so
Not doesn't
important.
that impact your life
Yeah.
in such a large way. It's not that significant. We're talking about things that could change our future, basically,
Yeah, pretty much.
because we're letting it be a fear. Yeah. Okay, so let's start. I'm just going to ask some questions, and then we can like deep delve into it, because we've
Okay.
got some amazing questions. But also, if you want to ask any questions, just jump in at any time, because it is your idea and you've got all the topic in your head.
No worries.
So what is a common fear that many people have, but actually isn't as scary as it seems?
I'm gonna say like I'm gonna go back off the back, or I don't know. Like, in the
off the
first
back
half,
of what you
Yes.
said in the first half.
yeah, because in the first half I said something. I said you have to apply to everything. So a common fear is not putting yourself out there, I would say, but it's not actually that much.
So do you think the fear is being rejected?
I don't know. I'd say the fear is socializing or maybe applying to it. I feel being rejected is a fear that we all have, and it's actually a common fear, but it actually isn't that much. You're gonna get rejected everywhere. Not everywhere, obviously, but when you apply, it happens. It's part of life. So I would say that's a common fear as well. But I think just putting yourself out there and the fear of, I don't know. I used to be scared. For example, I'm gonna go with me. I used to be scared of applying to stuff because then I would actually have to go and do the effort of everything, and how am I gonna make
just
friends?
showing up.
Yeah, pretty much. Am I gonna make friends? Yeah,
and socializing.
So that's,
Two
I
different
think,
ones.
a common fear. But then once you're into it and once you get comfortable, I think that fear disappears, doesn't it?
I think socializing can still be scary though.
Yeah,
That is
I
definitely
agree.
something. So, like, for example, recently I had to go to a community centre and mingle. I put that in quotation marks. And bear in mind, this is not my regular community, and they fully fledged. They're running as they usually do. You know, I walked in, everything's busy, bustling, kids over there, parents over there, just things happening. And I thought, how do I get in here? How do I insert myself here and socialise with people? And it was really scary. It was kind of daunting as well. And I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. And I don't know why. But then I wouldn't say that it wasn't as scary as it's. Well, it wasn't as scary as it seems, because really and truly, what's going to happen?
Yeah, literally.
What is actually going to happen? Nothing. Let's be logical. But yeah, I remember I just sat on the side, and then a kid was like, do you want to see my game? And then we just played games on the phone, and then I was like, okay, I'll ease into this a little bit more. But yeah.
I completely agree with you, because I've been to, I think, 3 networking events, and it's so scary and so Alia's looking at me because she knows how much I love networking,
Yeah.
but I still
But it's
go.
still scary.
It's still scary every time you go, because you don't know who to, like, who's gonna make the first effort to actually go and speak with someone. Also, I like it when it's like a panel and all you have to do is listen, but this networking events, obviously you have to talk with people and you have to mingle, like you said, and it's so and it's so scary. But I remember my first networking event, I didn't know anywhere in the event, so I just started walking around, and I met this really lovely group of girls actually, and they were just so nice. So I just think, again,
Is
putting
it
yourself out
scary
there.
because you think that you might say the wrong thing? Like, why is it scary?
Yeah, I think, I think saying the wrong thing, or maybe not, I don't want to sound like they were mean or something, but maybe not fitting into what they think I should be like.
So that is a bit of like rejection, I suppose.
Yes.
'Cause they're like, we don't want you.
Yeah, like
Can't sit with us.
because
Yeah.
when you go to this kind of events, you want to stick with a group, so you're not by yourself mingling around. So you like go to all the
But that's
tables
not
and
the
everything.
point of it, though, is it? I think that's what it'd be. Let it get away from us. The point. It's like, what's the actual point? Networking.
Yeah, I suppose. But that's what
But
I've been
I
doing the
understand
last
where you're
year.
coming from.
You
There's
learn
strength in
something
numbers.
yourself.
You just feel like a bit more confident when there's someone else kind of chatting for you, and you're a group.
Yeah.
You can bounce off each other. Do I get that? Because, as I mentioned, that community centre I went to, the next time I went, I took my younger sister with me. I was like, I need the
I feel like it's so
support.
easy
Yeah.
to talk. Go.
Oh, after that, I was going to say that it's just so cute.
No.
I love taking my
Thanks.
sister's places.
Yeah, it just
They're
it
useful
helped
sometimes.
me. It helped me a lot.
They can be useful sometimes.
Then I was confident, so I was like, you know,
Shout out to all the sisters.
yeah, thank you for supporting us.
Yeah,
But that's
thanks.
why I get when you were like, oh, I like to be with a group and find a group and join them. I get it. But yeah, I think we need to think about, why is it not scary? So we found the scary part. It's scary because they might not include you. It's scary because you don't know what to say. You might say the wrong thing. So where's the not scary part of this?
I feel like everyone's going through the same thought process that I'm going. So even if it's your 100th networking event, or you've been to so many, or you're the one hosting it, everyone has a fear of saying the wrong thing. Everyone's scared of, I'm not going to make any friends. Everyone's scared. We all have the same fears when we go to this kind of things. So that makes me feel like a bit more relaxed.
Okay, so number one, these are tips, right? The first thing is, everyone's probably feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Anything else, Adia? What do you think is not scary?
Just to add on to tip number 1, I think also some people just aren't. Like, some people might not be scared. They might just walk in there and think, you know what, this is what it is,
So how does that
If you
help
like-
us?
It helps you because if they're there to network themselves, they're not thinking
Okay,
about what you're doing,
good. So you're saying
For example,
sometimes you just
yes.
need to not care
Yeah,
because
sometimes you have to
people
just
are
think.
there for the purpose
They're
of being
for
there.
themselves. Yeah, some people, they're just there for themselves. They're focusing more on yourselves. Like, everybody is so concentrated on themselves, they're not going to be concentrated on you.
But I've never thought about that,
You have to be so like self-aware when you're in like big groups of people, like how you hold yourself, how you communicate with people. That's the most important thing. You know,
But what about the fear of I might say the wrong thing?
you
How
say the
can-
wrong thing, then you say the wrong thing. Correct yourself or move on from it. It happens, you know. Like sometimes you're just sitting there and you say something controversial, and you know,
What if it was just
it's-
incorrect
or
and
even
it's
if
that
it's
you're
incorrect.
embarrassed because you've just said the wrong thing? to
and
the-
if someone does correct you, take it.
Take that on board.
Yeah, take it
Yeah.
on board. You think, you know what? Yeah, okay. I'll
Yeah.
take that. You know, don't get all defensive about it and start arguing.
Yeah.
I think it's
What
more-
if you realise later? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm giving you all these question scenarios because I actually want to know.
Yeah.
Like, if we're in this situation
Yeah.
and you said the wrong thing to maybe someone that you might have wanted to do work experience with, now you've walked away and you just thought, oh my god, I've just said the wrong thing.
Yeah.
This is why I don't come to these places. How do we?
You know, it's so normal to have that sort of mentality and them thought processes, but at the end of the day, you have to just have this mentality where, if it was meant for me, you know, it would have worked. It would have worked. Allah would have made it happen for me, you know. Or say, for example, there was someone there that could have put you on a good path, especially in your career. If it didn't work out and you left not a very good impression, or you didn't leave a very, you know, bold impression, maybe that person wasn't meant for you, or maybe that work career path pathway
Yeah.
wasn't meant for you, you know. And there's something 10 times better. You know, you didn't show your best to them, but you might show your best to somewhere else, and that might be better for you.
So I think I want to carry on that little
Yeah.
thread that you came on,
Yeah.
and I want to ask Fareen. So how can these Islamic principles kind of help us overcome that fear? And carrying on from what Alia said,
Yeah, I completely agree with Alia, and I think it's so important to obviously, you know, like we always say this, Allah puts you in the situations for a reason, and then He's obviously going to take you out of it, and your destiny and where you're going, it's decided in kind of a way by God. So if it doesn't work out or anything like that, but it's still, I feel like even if I say the wrong thing, I'm a big overthinker, so I always take it back, and there's no way I won't forget it in like 3 months. And even though that person might forget, I always have it in my subconscious. I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I say that? Why did I say that? And it has happened so many times at this networking events. And it's not even with like big people, quotation marks, but it's just with the people that are there. And I just feel like, oh my God, why did I say that? Like, oh, it's like when you try to make a joke and it's not funny. Those kind of stuff always happens to me.
Yeah.
And then I always overthink it, but you know, it's life.
so if you brought in Islamic principles and that, what would you say? Like, obviously Alia mentioned if it's meant for you,
Yeah.
then it's, or if it's not meant for you.
Can I kind of answer that question?
Yeah.
Right, in terms of Islamic principles and how it would. I think when you're overthinking, a lot that you have to understand is a lot of it is whispers from the shaitan, you know, and he's going to kind of whisper in your ear these things that are going to make you insecure and doubt yourself and, you know, care about this and care about that, when in reality it's just dunya. You know, like these people, they're just here for what? They're of no benefit to you. Even if they are of benefit to your career, they're just people. You'll find another path. You know what
That's
I mean?
really good.
A lot of it is whispers from shaitan, and you just have to kind of realize that you need to be overthinking about
The good
right
things, yeah.
rather than the bad things.
So I'll give an
Yeah.
example of that though. That's kind of like on the contrary, but not on the contrary. So like I applied for a job once, and I don't know if I didn't get it or not, but they never got back to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's very
That's
relatable.
the worst thing.
Yeah, that's very relatable, right? So there's two ways I could have looked at that, which is one, okay, it's not meant to be, which is fine because I've been saved from something that might have been horrible. But at the same time, if you think that is a good opportunity and you've done your research and you think it's going to be good for you, like, and looking at work experience, for example, if you're at networking events and you think, no, but I genuinely really wanted that and that did seem good, then there's nothing stopping you from finding an email and trying again.
Yep.
So that's exactly what I did. So I emailed and I said, look, he never got back to me. And they actually told me I wasn't fit for the role, but because I sent that email, they said, okay, come back in for another chat, we'll have another interview for a different role, because I was so persistent. And when I say I was so persistent, it was a month later, like, and I was just like, no, I really like that place and I did want to work there. So it's just, I think it's finding that if you kind of think it's gonna be good for you, make that effort. And it's also Islamic, like, you need to make the effort yourself, you need to put in that work yourself to see if it is the right thing. If it's not, it won't be for you, then that's fine, but do all that you can first, exhaust all measures, so no regrets, you did what you could, right? Great, thank you guys. So we can move on. That was the first question.
Can I just add that that's actually like an Islamic principle, you know.
Say it.
Allah doesn't change the condition of a people unless people change the condition for themselves.
Wow.
Exactly.
Say it again.
So Allah does not change the condition of a people unless the people change the condition of themselves.
Thank
for
you.
themselves.
That is so good, Alia. Thank you.
It is.
So I think that can totally link into what we're talking about right now. Want to tell us how?
100%, because I think we had this mentality where we, as Sonia said, she was very very persistent in her situation, but a lot of us, we kind of just think, oh damn, that wasn't for me, move on, and then you stay jobless for however long, and you think it's just going to come to you for free, but even little things, like if you want something as simple as getting a glass of water, you can't just think, oh yeah, but if Allah's going to bless me with water, he's going to send the rains down. It's so silly. You have to actually
Make the effort.
you have to take that, even my example, take it and put it in a broader perspective, and think, if I don't go job seeking, and there's nothing embarrassing about seeking your provision, and I tell you, there's nothing wrong and there's nothing embarrassing and there's nothing humbling about wanting to have a good job, right? Even if you get rejected 100 times, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And that's your provision. That
Absolutely.
That you're looking for.
Yeah. I like the way you phrased it as well. Really, really good. Then that shouldn't even come into the fears section
Yeah,
in
100%.
terms of looking for jobs or
Shouldn't.
anything like that. I'm not even gonna. We don't fear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was 16 years old, everybody around me applied for jobs in regular stores that we all know, and I got rejected from all of them, and I genuinely did not know why, but I didn't give up and I didn't cry about
Now
it.
look at
I
you.
just
Successful.
thanks. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
We're
Just
successful.
for context, actually, I had a conversation with somebody today
Mm-hmm.
about how great Sonia is at her job, and I'm not even exaggerating how
Thank
great she
you.
is at her job, and how everybody at her workplace misses her. So just to add, that Sonia is a
Thank
very
you.
very hard worker.
Thank you
I
so
completely agree.
much. Oh, stop.
Look at you shining.
Well, let me just tell you, the example I told you guys about how the workplace never got back to me and then I was persistent and I kept pushing? That was the workplace you just referred to.
No
So I
way.
stayed there for more than 3 years. I got the job. But the thing
Wow.
is, I didn't get the job I applied for. And then the manager, the boss, the CEO did say that to me. He said, you weren't the right fit for the role. But because you were persistent and you emailed me and you seemed very interested and genuinely passionate about working and, like you said, earning a provision for yourself, let me see where else I can fit you. What other skills do you
What a
have?
great company.
No, well,
Great
alhamdulillah.
company.
But I think it's just about, like you said, it's just trying to change the condition for yourself, right? Like, you have to make attempts. I think another thing, again, this isn't really down the fears line, but, it's taking steps that might not seem like the end goal right now, but taking steps towards it. And people are so, well, it is a fear. People are so afraid to do the thing that doesn't match the perfection in their head.
Yeah.
And I know it's because of so many things. It could, like societal pressures, or I don't know what other reason. Your own pressure because you think that's not where I want to be.
Or even the fear of disappointing yourself. Oh,
Yeah.
like you have all these hopes and dreams, but I'm not gonna
Yeah,
make it. But I'm not gonna make it.
exactly. If, for example, if you want to be, I don't know, I'm just trying to think, like a professional badminton player, and you're like, there's no way I can do it because I don't have the equipment, I don't have the time, I can't go to this, I don't know, training or whatever. Okay, that's fine, but have you even put yourself in those situations? You might never be a professional badminton player, but did you even go and play weekly tournaments or anything like that? Like,
Did you try your best?
This is what I mean. So at least put yourself in the situation pathways, and even if it just means you end up just working in the badminton kind of industry, at least you're a bit happy because it's in the industry you wanted, and you might find happiness in other ways because you might help other people do it, right?
Yeah.
But I think don't be afraid to take those steps because you feel like a failure or rejection or that wasn't perfect, that's not exactly what I wanted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
don't be scared of that because it's still something, and we have to try, right? So that is still a fear, but I want to be more specific about daily life and decision-making processes. So all the way to daily life, what kind of fears might we have that affect our daily life?
I think one of the biggest ones is societal pressure. Like, I feel like everybody's constantly thinking about what someone else is gonna think. Like you. I feel like,
And how could that affect your daily life, though?
because when I say people, I mean even the people that you live with.
Okay.
People that you live with, people online. Oh, I did post today.
Ah.
And this is a thing. Like now people are getting like insecure about what they post. They don't want to post themselves on social media, or if they do, they feel the need that they have to. It's very very, with social media. Obviously, I won't speak too much because I'm not too educated in that field. I'm not too
Yeah, but
aware
you
of
mean
the psychology.
but the fear.
But the fear of it, I feel like, from what I've heard, a lot of people feel a need to post themselves, and I find that really really odd sometimes because they feel this pressure to keep uploading, and not for the purpose of marketing or promoting, just because they feel that people should know about their daily lives.
Wow.
You know, they don't believe in that they believe that people should see how well they're doing. You know, and I think this stems from
That is scary, and that is
Yeah,
an
it is
endless
scary.
cycle.
And it is an endless
That is an
cycle.
endless cycle.
and it'll follow you through your life.
So Alia, we did a show about this, and we're definitely doing another one with you. No, we will do this again because it's always relevant. It's always relevant. But just bringing it back to like the fear aspect of it, I think you're right. Like it's like the societal fear of not being present, missing out,
Yeah.
or not showing that you're at the best. You're at your best, right?
Yeah.
But why do we fear that? We should not fear that. So how can we kind of let that fear go? Like, I don't disagree with posting. I love posting as well. But again, there shouldn't be a fear attached to it. It shouldn't be a pressure. It shouldn't be I have to do this. It should be I want to do this. It's just a fun thing for me, not just scary. I've got it wrong. Let me take that again 3,000 times because I didn't get it right. How do we navigate that?
I just like to add on that I completely agree. If you love to post, then post for the sake of for
For
the fun
fun.
of it, for the fun of it,
Or marketing,
you
like
know?
you said, if it's for a specific
marketing,
thing.
especially
Yeah.
for business, you know. But in terms of getting rid of this fear, where we have to make everyone believe that we're living our best lives and painting this improper picture of who we are and what we're like, I think is first you have to understand that you are not a like you're not a person that has a label on you.
Yeah.
You're not stuck in this label of my name is Alia and I'm like this,
Yeah,
and this.
yeah, yeah.
You're ever changing, you're ever growing, you know, and you have to come to terms with this and accept that my name is Alia and now I love posting myself on social media, whereas a month ago I didn't. Or now I like to wear, red, and now I don't like wearing red. You don't you just have to accept yourself, and really don't compare yourself to other people, because you can't be compared to other people because you're just changing all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like when you compare yourself to someone else, you kind of adapt yourself to be like that, especially out of insecurity. You just have to kind of accept who
I think
you
you're so right, Alia. Like, a lot of us fear not fitting in or not matching what you think you should match, or not, fitting in the label that you've put yourself in and the box that you put yourself in. And that's really hard because we're changing all the time. Like, literally every 6 months, I feel like, even shorter than that, every day.
Yeah.
But you know my point. Like, you can look back and think, that's not me. So it's fine to do all those things, but don't have a kind of pressure around it.
like
You
an
can
unhealthy
change.
pressure.
You're flexible, you're fluid. That's, well, in some ways, not always, but you know what I mean. Like, what you may like or not like, or just I think you explained it really well, so I don't need to carry on. But thank you. So this question I kind of have for both of you, but I would like Fareen to answer as well. How do you think different generations perceive and cope with fear?
Let's say, I think what Alia said is this generation, even my generation, we're scared of, I don't know, but I feel like when I was young, I used to be scared of so many things, like strangers and the normal things that you say.
Can I just say, I was really scared of getting sucked into this quicksand. I don't know why.
Oh, it's that film Indiana Jones, or was it the Mummy?
Maybe.
It's that
but I
film.
don't live in any area that I
That's
would come
quicksand.
across quicksand.
No,
And I just had this irrational fear of
It was that
quicksand
film.
and the Bermuda Triangle, being sucked into that. But anyway, we'll just stop that. But Fareen, back to the generational one. When we talk about maybe parents' generation, or I don't know, 40, I don't know what we call those generations, but yeah.
Actually, with your parents, like, for example, their biggest fear was not giving me a proper education, or not being able to pay the bills. Those fears that they have. But now, the fears that we have, I feel like don't compare to the fears that my parents used to have.
Do you not think that, sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
So we're talking about how they perceive fear. Do you not think that, I'm trying to give an example, my mum going to my cousin's house, do you not think she still had the fear of oh my god, how am I going to look? Am I going to say the wrong thing in front of them?
I always think about this.
Of course they did.
Yes.
They did. Of course, people are human. Social pressures are always there. Whether they're amplified now because of social media, and it's even if you go home, the fear's there on that screen. So the fear is kind of everywhere. In terms of society and social pressures, they kind of always
been there, yeah.
And cultural ones, which we didn't get the chance to get into today. So back to the parents one. Go.
Yeah, so with the, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so my parents had
You
fears
they
of
had serious ones.
Yeah, serious one. So the fears that I have now, I don't know if am I gonna obviously it's I don't know, reasonable fear. You know, am I going to finish my degree? Am I going to get the good grades? Are my parents going to be okay and stuff like that? And I think with I don't know, I feel like because my parents work so hard and they have these fears of giving me a proper education, my fear is not getting that proper education and giving everything that I can back to them before, you know, anything happens. So I think that would be one of my fears. But for example, for the younger generation, I'll take, like, for example, let's say my little brothers, there's nothing that they fear, I feel like, from my side, from my point of view, that's too much or that's too deep, like my ones or like my sister's one, because they're still like young. So their like biggest fear would be, I don't know, can I go out tomorrow and there's a dog and there's a cat and stuff like that, you know? So I don't know really from my point of view, from the surface view.
I think with like there's different types of fears that we've established now. So there's like the overarching fear of success and making your parents happy or making your children happy. There's that fear, and I think even little kids, like you mentioned, younger brothers, I think they do have that. They do have the capacity to understand, am I going to disappoint my dad? I'm scared. I fear that I might be in trouble. So that does exist. And then there's the little ones that we talked about, like society ones, like how am I going to sound in front of this auntie or like I'm going to get in trouble. Like there's those fears as well, or saying the wrong things to a work experience potential, you know, organisation. There's those fears. And then I think there's always going to be society and, like, I don't know, you call it like peer fear. Did I make up a word? Peers fears. So like I'm thinking of, like you said, your younger brother. I'm sure there's a moment, you know, like what if I don't fit in with the coolest gang at school? Like that's a fear. That's a valid fear, right? Yeah.
But we've all had it.
Yeah, whether that be in capacity of work though, or in the community, or with your family. But yeah, so I think we didn't really get in. We've run out of time actually.
Oh no.
Yeah, so some of the questions that we also have, which we may discuss on a podcast maybe at a later date, is how have our childhood experiences shaped the fears we have as adults? Are there cultural and society factors that influence what we are afraid of, which definitely we can touch on, especially with the cultural aspect. There's so many like little the bits that are like very specific to maybe a South Asian culture or Pakistani culture that is like maybe your mum had it and maybe you have it too, and maybe your child will have it too because it's in our culture. But yeah, those are things that we will definitely continue talking about, hopefully in a Sister Speak podcast or in another show. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. You guys want to say bye?
Bye everyone.
Thank you for listening, and inshallah join us next week, Wednesday, Sister Speak. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We stream our daily broadcast on inspirefm.org. You'll find all our daily updates on our social media at Inspire FM Luton.